The Mirrorball trophy felt impossibly heavy in Robert's hands, a cold, shimmering reward that seemed to weigh exactly as much as the collective grief, joy, and exhaustion of the past 12 weeks. Standing beside him, his dance partner Witney's face was streaked with tears, her breath catching in sharp, disbelieving gasps. This was so much more than a dance competition. For Robert, it had become a public, week-by-week pilgrimage in his father's memory. A path paved with sweat, fear, and a terrifying vulnerability he never expected to share with the world. When Robert first accepted the offer to join the show, he felt the burden immediately. The world saw him as the conservationist, the cheerful echo of his famous father, the legendary Steve Irwin. He was the crocodile hunter's son, always smiling, always in khaki. He wasn't a performer, and the anxiety of exposing his guarded, private self to millions of viewers was paralyzing. What if he failed? What if he let everyone down? His first week was exactly as he feared. He was stiff, technically awkward, and his movements were marred by that deep-seated fear of failure. He was trying so hard to be perfect, to hit every mark, that he forgot to actually dance. Witney, his fiercely dedicated professional partner, saw the potential, but she also saw the wall he kept built around his heart. She realized early on that Robert didn't just need to learn the steps, he needed permission to feel them. His initial dances lacked the essential fire, the wild, untamed passion that was his birthright. It was the very passion his father had shown the world, but Robert was keeping his own locked away. They worked for weeks, focusing on a quick step, a dance of relentless, bright energy. He mastered the footwork, his feet flying across the floor with incredible precision. But his expression remained distant, his eyes empty. He was a perfect machine executing a program, not a man telling a story. One evening, deep into rehearsal for a Roomba dedicated to his family, Witney finally stopped the music. They had been fighting a losing battle against the dance's inherent sensuality, a quality Robert found impossible to connect with. He just couldn't access that emotion. "Robert," she said, her voice soft but firm, "you are so strong, but you're not here. Where are you going when you dance?" "You disappear." He looked at the floor, shame washing over him. "I'm just trying to remember the choreography," he mumbled. "I can't let my partner down." "Stop thinking about the steps," she countered, stepping closer. "Think about the music. What does it make you feel? Loss? Hope? Your father's absence is a part of you, Robert. The world loves you because of that love, not despite it. Stop guarding that pain. Let it fuel the dance." Her words were the key. They unlocked something deep inside him. He broke down right there in the dusty rehearsal hall, the years of quiet composure, of being the strong, smiling son, finally fracturing. He told her everything about the immense difficulty of carrying such a bright legacy, the feeling that he was only ever half of a whole, constantly performing a role he felt he had to live up to. Witney didn't offer platitudes or easy comfort. She offered action. She took his vulnerability, his pain, his raw honesty, and wove it directly into the choreography. She made his story the centerpiece of their performance. The following week's Roomba was an absolute masterpiece. It was a story of controlled agony and burgeoning hope. It wasn't about perfect technique or flawless lines anymore. It was a raw, honest conversation with a ghost, a tribute to the man who shaped his world. And for the first time, the judges and the entire audience finally saw the real man beneath the khaki shirt. They saw Robert. The weeks blurred into a routine of physical agony and emotional exposure. Robert pushed his body past exhaustion, suffering through bruised ribs and aching muscles, all while facing that persistent, whispered fear of letting down his family's name. It was a brutal schedule, but something had shifted. He was no longer hiding. Witney, witnessing his quiet suffering and his relentless pursuit of authenticity, became his fierce protector. She defended him from harsh critiques, restructured rehearsals to accommodate his conservation travel, and insisted on using music that directly referenced his personal journey. She wasn't just his partner, she was his champion. Then the final night arrived. All the weeks of work came down to this one last dance. Their freestyle was set to a powerful instrumental piece often associated with his father's wildlife documentaries. It was their ultimate risk, a dance that stripped away all the pretense of competition and offered a simple, powerful narrative of a son growing into a legacy. There were moments of high-energy passion, celebrating the joy and adventure his father instilled in him. But the emotional climax came when Robert paused, his hand reaching out to an empty space beside him, his eyes closed. For a split second, the world held its breath. It was a perfect, heartbreaking moment of acceptance and moving forward, before Whitney gently pulled him back to the present, back to the dance. When their names were called as the champions, the roar of the audience was deafening. Robert felt the surge of relief, but mostly he felt the heavy mantle of expectation he'd carried for so long finally ease. The Mirrorball trophy wasn't just for him or for Whitney. It was a testament to every quiet battle fought in a sterile rehearsal room, every tear shed and every piece of hidden grief shared in the pursuit of a perfect, honest performance. Holding the trophy, looking at Whitney, his accomplice, his friend, his fierce, loyal guide, he finally felt complete. He had proven that his passion, like his father's, could be wild, untamed, and entirely his own. The silent vow he made at the beginning to honor his father by daring to be vulnerable was finally fulfilled. He hadn't just won a competition. He had found himself. Thanks so much for watching. If this story moved you, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next one.